Thank you for having me here today, and it's a real pleasure to talk to people about my two biggest passions, which are ancient history and teaching. And it's funny how when you love your history so much and you find yourself in a job as a teacher, that sharing that knowledge, that teaching becomes just as important to you. I've always loved history. I remember many nights as a child hiding under my blanket with my torch, reading historical fiction, hoping that Mum and Dad didn't come and bust me for being the naughty kid. And it was reinforced when I went to school. On my first day of Year 7, I remember my teacher, John Elton. It's funny how you always remember your history teachers' names. Came in with a sword and smashed it down on my desk. And I knew, yep, history is the subject for me. So we went a little journey through the Middle Ages, some Australian history, some thematic studies, and then, thanks to the hard work of some really wonderful teachers, I found where I really belonged. Tom Hillard came to our school, fully decked out in his scuba gear, and spent 2.5 hours talking to us about marine archaeology and the ancient world. And from that point on, I knew I had found my place, and it was rooted firmly in antiquity. And it was the beginning of a relationship with the past that is just as strong today. But it wasn't just about a love of the stories of the past. History had always been important to my family, but it had always had a political agenda. My father was a Vietnam vet, and he continues to this day to experience a myriad of mental and physical health problems that come from his military service. He experienced in a number of different ways consistent and long-term exposure to small quantities of Agent Orange. That's caused all sorts of damage, but he also suffered from post-traumatic stress syndrome and the accompanying mental health issues. Every day we lived with the fallout of history, and every day we dealt with systems that were incapable, either through lack of resource or through public policy, to provide assistance that he needed. So history became politics, and it strongly became linked to real lives. It became important to me in ways that changed my life, and it became a struggle for equity, for justice, and to find a voice. So understanding history, therefore, in my mind, became firmly linked to the potential to affect lives, and it was constantly reinforced through quality teachers that inspired me and challenged me. My Year 11 ancient history teacher, Karen Eamons, made me think about the world in different ways. She filled my head with Romans. I was living and breathing and dreaming Roman history. More importantly, I like to do all those higher order thinking skills that we know come along with history, drawing conclusions, analysing, synthesising, debating and challenging. And as I'm sure you all know, they are the things that make us more informed citizens. They make us better people. So with that knowledge that history makes people more informed and more reasoned, that the examples I had of wonderful ancient history teachers and the firm belief that history is political, it really inspired me, and I knew I was hooked. Mostly, however, I knew that history gave you the potential to affect and change lives. I could use my passion and love to make a difference, and I knew that the best way to share this love was to become a teacher. I was really lucky. I knew while I was at high school that I wanted to be an ancient history teacher, and I knew that being a history teacher was perhaps one of the most political jobs that you could have. I enrolled in a Bachelor of Arts Diploma of Education straight out of high school. Straight away I knew I'd made the right decision. I filled my head every day with stories that I loved. I wrote words and words of things that inspired me, and each day validated my choices that ancient history was awesome. I lost myself in new methodologies, I lost myself in new cultures, I came back to visit the Romans as often as I could, but my light bulb moment came when I had started my prac teaching. Kate Cameron was my prac education teacher, and she'd taught at Mount Druitt High School for a very long time. So she decided to send me on a difficult placement. She sent me to Bidwell High School in the deep dark depths of the Mount Druitt region, and all she had to say to me was, "Good luck." I didn't know until after what a service she had in fact done me. She put me out of my comfort zone, She made me think about teaching holistically rather than just about ancient history. And she made me think about my craft instead of my content. Mostly, however, she gave me a gift, and that gift has been refined and polished over many difficult Western suburb schools. The gift she gave me was the ability to use history to change lives and to challenge and change the lives of students who are most at risk. The students who grab onto the stories and the personalities of the past as escapism, who passionately want to use history to change their circumstances, who desire and need to understand the world in different ways. I've always taught at tough schools, and I've always loved my job. You constantly challenge your own understanding of antiquity as you look for ways to hook your students, and it's the stories that we've all been talking about. You learn every day, you study every night, you immerse yourself in the history because it's passion that breaks through to the students, and it's passion for your subject and for your students that builds rapport. And it's the passion that allows students to distract themselves from all those things that they bring from home that makes them those students that are difficult. I teach at Chifley College Senior Campus. Our school provides the final years of education for nearly every public student in the Greater Mount Druitt area. We're made up of a number of 7 to 10 campuses, including Mount Druitt Campus, Dunheved Campus, Shelby Campus and Bidwell Campus, which has students from kindergarten to year 12 on grounds. I've taught at the junior campuses. I started out at Bidwell High School before it was part of the college system, and I spent 7 years slogging it out as a history and learning support teacher at Mount Druitt Campus. Each and every day I've enjoyed that journey, even when it's been tough, even when it's been difficult. And I've always appreciated the gifts of teaching students where history can change lives. Quality teaching inspires a love of learning, and it's really important to remember that every single day of learning is immeasurable in its value for the type of students that we teach. Every single day adds value to their education, and every single day adds value to their way of understanding the world. Every day they love their learning, they challenge societal assumptions about their worth, and they grow and develop as critical and creative thinkers. I'm proud each and every day of my students, not because they have marks on paper that are going to get them into prestigious universities, not because they have band 5s and band 6s, but because every student in my class leaves a partner in my love affair. They leave with their heads in the past and with a better understanding of their future. Some students do leave with exceptional results, and that's really important to remember about difficult schools, that there are exceptional students. And it's even more rewarding to see that ancient history and hard work and passion has dividends for those students. Many of us take for granted that that transition into university is an easy journey. For many of our kids, it's not. And it is remarkable indeed to be able to see students who work hard despite disadvantage get to where they want to be. Would I consider any other job? Absolutely not. Would I ever consider teaching anywhere but low socioeconomic schools in Western Sydney? No. Would I ever stop being an ancient history teacher? Not for anything in the world. Teaching at a school like mine makes you love your subject in different ways because the young adults are different. It's not about sitting in a library doing research. It's not about finding ways to express what you love on paper. It's about inspiring others. They're waiting to be inspired. You can get away with a lot. In what other jobs could I wear my toga in class, to staff meetings, to parent-teacher night, and everyone just think that's normal? In what other job could I dress up as a gladiator and practice my moves during playground duty, and every child at the school just say, "Hi miss, how are you going?" In what other job could I use stop-motion Lego to teach the fall of the Roman Republic? In what other job could I share my love of the past with students and see them come to love it as much as I do? It really is the best job in the world. Many of my kids are disadvantaged. They face hurdles and obstacles that many of us don't even dream of. Some of them have few advocates. Some have limited support structures. Mostly, they have limited opportunities. Some come to school hungry. Some come to school tired. Some come to school with no boundaries and no respect. Some come to school in all sorts of trouble. The important thing to think about with that is they come to school. Each and every day they come to school, and each and every day they are overcoming that disadvantage that is in their way. There's nothing more politicised than knowing that knowledge and using history can change their lives. They deserve quality teachers that are passionate about their subject, and they deserve quality teachers that are experts at their craft. They do deserve quality teachers, but at the same time, they inspire quality teaching. They deserve a fair go, and they deserve, in a world where your suburb does matter, to be given means to make their own choices. All of those things are the personal things that attracted me to teaching history: the struggle for equity, justice, and to find a voice. Quality education generally, and inspiring history teaching specifically, can provide those tools. Every year before the HSC exam, I make my Year 12s complete a test, and I call it the real HSC because this is where the value lies for me. I ask them to tell me 5 things that they have enjoyed about ancient history, 5 things that they've learnt from ancient history, and 1 thing about how studying the course has changed their lives. These are some of my favourite answers from this year. I have enjoyed Marius, Sulla, Pompey, Crassus, Caesar, Mark Antony, Lepidus and Octavian. It's good to have new friends. I have enjoyed reading. How weird is that? I have enjoyed your stories. Ancient history is the best. I have enjoyed your coin collection. Even though you're a nerd, it's cool to hold something and think about the different people who have held it and used it. I have learnt that Cleopatra was so smart and awesome that she was hot, even if she really wasn't hot. I have learnt that I am smart and I can even write essays. I have learnt that I would have been an awesome Roman male. I was born in the wrong era, miss. I have learnt not to live near a volcano. I have learnt not to try and force an elephant through a gate without measuring first. I have learnt how to wear a toga and look good. How has studying the course changed your life? I am going to go to university no matter what my parents say. How has studying the course changed your life? I want to be a teacher now. How has studying the course changed your life? Because I've come to realise that religion, class, politics, technology and systems may come and go, but there is a core of humanity that is constant and valuable. I think about the world differently now. This is a funny one. How has studying the course changed your life? Because I found Rome really interesting, I borrowed some Colleen McCulloch books from the library. They were pretty long, so I didn't read them all. But because I'm a redhead like Sulla and pale, I always wear sunscreen and a hat now. I don't want to be scabby like Sulla. Colleen really scared me. And this is the one that really gets to me, and I might cry even reading it now. How has studying the course changed your life? I know who I am now. I am a historian. No one can take that away from me. These are the reasons I love my job, and these are the reasons that I love my kids. Every day they make me laugh. Every day they make me smile. A lot of the time they make me cry, but every day they make me remember why I love ancient history, and every day they make me proud to be a teacher. You can't say that about many jobs. Ancient history teachers are holders of passion, of knowledge, of expertise and language, and every single day we help someone new access those things that we love and those things that we value. It's truly a privilege to be an ancient history teacher, and I welcome you all as colleagues on your journey to becoming one.